Word up! Welcome to my channel, StevoTalks. I am Stevo. I'm not a guru or life coach or dating coach or anything like that. I just want to make videos discussing things that I find interesting, and hopefully you good people out there find it interesting as well. So what I wanted to go over in this video is something that has been the absolute bane of my existence ever since sort of like my early mid-teens, and that is something called acne. Now, growing up, I was probably maybe 14, 15 when I started getting acne. Like a lot of teenagers do at that age, you're going through your adolescence and your hormones are changing, and you're going from sort of like a boy or a girl to a man or a woman, and one of the symptoms of those changes is acne. Your sebum glands respond to the hormonal changes in your body and just start pumping more and more oil. So you end up getting like oily skin, you end up getting the spots because of the bacteria, and overall it's not very pleasant. So like most teenagers, that happened to me. I went through the usual procedures, trying different face washes, Clearasil and I don't know, Oxy this and Oxy that, whatever. That sort of stuff didn't work, which we all sort of know doesn't. It's probably good at cleaning your skin, if you just got normal dirt and things like that. But for acne, anybody who actually suffers from acne knows that using these acne products don't really work. So tried all the over-the-counter products, which, like I say, didn't work. Ended up going to the doctors, which, I mean, at the time I thought that was the right thing to do. And I suppose with the acne I was getting at this point, yes, it was the right thing to do. So I went through all the antibiotics, topical creams, which for the most part didn't work. I suppose the antibiotics work for a bit, but your body gets used to them, and you can take them you only can really take them for like 3 months or something like that, 3 or 4 months, and you got to stop them, and then sure enough the acne comes back. So it's like, well, what's the point? Ended up going to college when I was 16, 17, and that's when my acne got a lot worse, like really, really bad. It was, I mean, obviously it's different for different people, but for me, the acne was down the side of my face, all the way through. It's like pretty much where you'd expect to have sort of a beard. Basically, I had a beard of acne. So I never really got them. Luckily, never really got them on my forehead, or not so much on my nose. I also got like blackheads on my nose, but not on my nose or cheeks. It was down the sides. I was also lucky as well because I didn't really get them on the back. I know some people get them on the back, which can be obviously you can't see them, but it can be quite painful. I did sometimes get them on my neck, but I can't remember I can't remember it being like really, really bad on my neck. So the main problem was down the sides and the front. So after trying all these products from the doctors, eventually, I think it was my mum heard of a drug. It could have been while she was in France or something, or we went on holiday to France or something like that. But she heard of a drug called Roaccutane, or in some parts of the world, Accutane. So obviously went to the doctors, asked about it. The doctor said, yeah, you can go on Roaccutane, but it's quite a what's the word, like harsh drug, quite a severe drug. So you have to go for like blood tests while you're doing it, sort of like every month. And I think you only do it. You don't do it for you can't be on it for a long time either. But yeah, you got to go for blood tests and checkups while you're on it, because I think it can like seriously negatively affect the liver. So plus with this drug, there was like instances of a few people committing suicide while on the drug, and they sort of linked it to possibly the drug was causing the suicide, which I personally think they probably committed suicide because they were unhappy, and they probably went on the drug to obviously get rid of their acne. And there is a period of sort of breaking this drug in, like a purge sort of time with this drug, where things get worse before they get better. So this drug Accutane, it was quite a serious thing to go on. But like I say, I'd reached the end of my tether with it. It was horrible, just having all these spots down the side. It just looked like, when you're a teenager, when you start going out and sort of like you're checking out the girls and stuff like that. You don't want bloody covered in spots. It's a nightmare. So I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna go get this drug and see what happens. So like I say, went to the doctors, went to the GP. They pushed me forward to a specialist at the hospital in the dermatology clinic, and went there. They examined my face and that, and had a look at the condition, and they said, yeah, we can put you on Roaccutane. And I can't remember exactly how the sort of prescription was. I'm sure it was like, take one pill one day, then the next day take two, then go back to one, then take two, then one, then two, then one. And it went on like that for a little bit, and then it went to just one a day. So I think that the initial dose was to sort of kick start the drug, so it got into your system. So went on that. Now, I don't think it was long. I think I was only on it for like 3 or 4 months, but it wasn't long before I started to see, I'd say, like the symptoms of Roaccutane. The main symptom of it is dryness. Now, essentially what Roaccutane does, it shuts down your sebum glands from producing oil. So the glands that produce the oil to essentially lubricate the skin, keep it supple and moist, it shuts those down. When it shuts those down, it means there is no food source for bacteria. So then the bacteria dies, and then so your pores don't become infected and then inflamed and then pus up. So I was on, it must have been 2-3 weeks, and my skin started to dry, and I had to take a tub of moisturizer with me, and literally I must have been applying it almost every hour. That's like how fast your skin would dry. But it didn't bother me. It was because I could see it working. Obviously, when my skin started drying, it wasn't all oily. And then the spots that I had there started, obviously like drying up and flaking away. And I can remember. I mean, I hope you're not eating or anything like that right now. But I can remember, because like I was saying, I had all the spots down the side. Well, if I remember correctly, I think it was this side. This side had gotten really, really bad, and it was almost like all the spots that I had down this side had joined together to create like this huge patch, sort of like about there, where it was just an absolute clusterfuck of shenanigans going on. It was awful. But anyway, so obviously taking the drug 3 or 4 weeks into it, the skin's drying up like crazy, and this patch is all drying up, and it's starting to heal. You can see it's like starting to heal, but it's all drying up and getting a bit flaky. And I was in like the bathroom, and I could see it like getting a bit flaky, and so I started sort of like just picking at it, like that. And then just all of a sudden, it just, and like, I hope you're not eating or drinking or anything, but the amount of like pus that just came out of it, and I was like pushing it in like that, and it was just, so I was happy because things were working, and I could see it was drying everything up. Things were sort of starting to heal and that, because like in Roaccutane, it's essentially like a vitamin A, and I think it's like tritetranin. I think that's how you pronounce it, tritetranin. But it's like the oral form, not the cream form. I'll get into the cream form in a bit. It's the oral form. So it's like a vitamin A. So it helps replenish the skin. So it's drying everything down, but it's also increasing the turnover of your skin cells. So as things are drying, things are healing up. So went on that 3 or 4 months. By the end of it, completely spotless. And I don't mean, well, yeah, I mean clean, but clean, literally spotless. Like there was no spots, and my confidence just went, like it just shot through the roof. So I was over the moon about that, and started going out and hanging around and doing stuff, and I felt a lot more happy in myself. That went on for a good few years. So I think I went on to that when I was about 17 or 18 maybe. Yeah, something like that. And I stayed sort of spot free pretty much up until I was about 28, maybe 27, 28. And this is where sort of like things took a bit of a bad turn. I started to notice that spots were coming back again. but it wasn't exactly the same as it was before. It wasn't like teenage acne and, you know, you got loads of little spots here and there and all that sort of stuff. I started to notice that, well, one, my skin was getting oily again, and like a lot worse than what it was before, like really, really, really oily. And I started getting large nodular spots, like deep spots under the skin. And I wouldn't get loads. I wouldn't be like covered in them, but maybe sort of like 4 or 5 new ones each week. But they'll be painful, like big pain, and I'd have sort of like big like red blotches dotted. You know, like if I had like 4, it'd be like a red blotch there and a red blotch there and a red blotch there and a red blotch there. And oh yeah, I was getting them in places as well where I wasn't getting when I was, you know, going through my teenage years. So I thought, well, what's causing this? Has the Roaccutane worn off? So I went back to the doctors. They started saying, oh, well, we can give you a topical cream. I said, well, can I just get back on Roaccutane again? No, because, you know, you're not really got a lot of spots. You just got the odd one too. But I said, yeah, but the big, the deep, and I said, I'm getting covered in oil. Like I go for a shower, and 30 to 45 minutes later, my skin's all oily again. He's like, no, sorry, we can't put you on Roaccutane, but what we can do is we can give you some topical cream, or we can give you some antibiotics. So, you know, I took those, didn't work, didn't do anything. This sort of carried on for a good few years, and as you can imagine, my confidence just hit rock bottom. There's a few other reasons why my confidence hit rock bottom. It's sort of like there's a bit of a cluster of fucks that have just like dominated my existence over probably the past 10 or 15 years, but I'm just talking about this one at the moment. So yeah, as you can imagine, I'm getting these spots again, I'm getting oily skin, I'm sort of like getting close to my 30s at this point, and I'm just like thinking, well, what's happening? Well, like, why am I getting these spots? Like, I don't understand it. And that's when I heard the doctors coin this term, and I'm going to put it in quotes because I think it's like a misnomer of. I just don't think it's an accurate word or wording, but adult acne. And I thought, what do you mean adult acne? Like, acne is something that teenagers get when their body's going through hormonal changes. That's what acne is. But it's like the doctors just coined this term adult acne for just adults that get acne. Well, from my reckoning, if you're an adult getting acne, there's something causing it. Now, when you're a teenager getting acne, there's something that's causing it. It's your body's hormones. Your body's changing. The hormones are all over the place. It's messing up with you know, the normal production of how your body works, messing up with the production of your sebum glands. See, it's like cause and effect. Your hormones are changing, messes up your body, causes acne. There we go. But adult acne, and the doctors were just like, oh yeah, it's just adult acne. Right, what causes it? Well, we don't know, it's just adult acne. Well, no, there's got to be something that's causing it. So basically at that point, I'd sort of gave up on the doctors, and I just continued. This was getting close to the point where I ended up working abroad. So I ended up just sort of putting up with it, and like I say, my confidence was rock bottom at this point, because I just didn't like the way I looked. I had these spots, I had oily skin, and I just wasn't happy. And I sort of ended up working abroad, which I don't regret. It was one of the best things I've ever done. But that was sort of a good way to just sort of like segregate myself from the real world, normality. Because like when I say worked abroad, I worked sort of like abroad, not in like in another country, and I had like a normal life in another country. I worked sort of in a sort of different manner abroad. So with that, I was able to sort of like just segregate myself and just get on with my work and not have to deal with the real world. So over the years doing that, I was still getting the spots, still getting the oily skin. And through reading different things on the internet and listening to different videos and stuff like that, I started to sort of come to a conclusion that it's something that I'm doing. Like, it's just not happening, because, there's cause and effect. Something's got to be doing something. So something's got to be affecting you. Like I say, cause and effect. But I needed to find out what it was. So like I say, while I was working abroad, after watching various videos and reading documents and information, acne.org, like the website acne.org is actually like pretty good, like on the forum if you go on there. So I believe that it was something that either I was drinking, I was eating, or something I was like washing with, or clothes. So it's something that's coming into contact with my skin. While I wasn't working abroad, because sometimes I'd come home for like short stays. While I was at home, I'd go see the doctors. And I mean, and this used to just drive me nuts. It used to drive me up the wall, because these doctors are here to help you. That's what that's what they're meant to do. You go to them, you tell them the symptoms, you tell them the problem, what's going on. You say to them what you think should be. I mean, obviously they're within reason. They've got to sort of help you, but they're meant to listen to your worries and then guide you to the best course of action. And I'm sorry, but I feel the doctors that I was seeing at the time weren't guiding me to the best course of action. Because I would go to the doctors and I'd sit there in the office and they say, "What's the problem?" And I'll say, "I'm getting acne again, I'm getting spots." And at the time I'd be like, I'm 31 years old, I'm 33 years, this is like over years I'd be going to him. I'm 31 years old, I'm 33 years old, I'm 35 years old. I'm like, I'm getting spots. Why am I getting spots? I shouldn't be getting, oh, it's just adult acne. And I'm like, I said, it's something that I'm doing. And I'd relay it all out. I say, it's something that I'm consuming, something I'm drinking or I'm eating, or it's something that's like my skin's coming into contact with and I'm having a reaction. And I said, I just can't figure out what it is. And I said, because there was a couple of periods while I was working abroad where I didn't get any spots. For some reason, like the spots just went away. And I sort of like attributed it to certain things that I was doing. Well, what was I doing at that time? I was like, oh well, I was going to be going on holiday, and then I wanted to sort of trim at the gym, so I wasn't doing this and this, or I wasn't eating this, that, and that. Maybe that. So that started leading me to think, hang on, maybe it's something that I'm confusing, but consuming, but I couldn't quite figure it out. And so I was going to the doctors and I was asking the doctors for help. I was saying, can you help me figure this out? And I would tell them all of this. And I'd be like, so it's something that I'm doing, it's something I'm eating, it's something I'm drinking, it's something that's coming into contact with my skin. And the doctors, they go, okay, yeah, all right, And then as soon as I finish, he goes, right, well, what we can do is we can give you some topical lotion or we can give you some antibiotics. And I'm like, no, you're not listening to me. I've just told you that none of that works. I've pretty much so I was just getting wound up with the doctors all the time, and I basically just gave up on them. No, I just thought I'm going to have to do this on my own. So obviously I went like reading and watching videos, and again, acne.org. I was going on there. Was it acne.com? Might be acne.com. I can't remember now. But I was going on there, and through sort of like trial and error, I started to realise that there are certain foods, certain liquids, I started to realise there are certain foods and certain liquids that if I consume them, and it's never really straight away. It's not like, oh, I consume them and then an hour later I've got a spot. But if I consecutively have these things over a period of days, like over a period of a week, I will start to get oily skin. I'll start to get spots. My skin will my skin would like look dull and sunken and grey. I had these like big red nodular spots, oily skin, and then a dull grey complexion. And so I look like the Walking Dead. So anyway, I started to realise that things that I am consuming were causing this. So I started doing like removing things from my diet, and I started off with things that contain gluten, and I did that for a while. All my friends thought I was mad, but I did that for a while because I thought it might be a gluten sensitivity, and my condition did improve, but not because of the gluten. So after a certain amount of time, after a certain amount of time, I realised it wasn't the gluten that was actually causing it. Even though it did improve, it wasn't actually the gluten, because I would still end up like getting spots coming through. So I think I kind of stumbled upon it accidentally. I noticed it's sort of like there was sort of, I think, sort of a multiple of things at once, but I noticed certain protein shakes, after being on them for like a week or so, I started to get breakouts. Then I started to realise if I had coffee with certain creamers, I would start to get breakouts. And then I started to realise or see a connection with having things like cheese. And I love cheese. I love mature cheddar. It's so good. But I started to realise having things like mature cheddar or like a glass of milk. And I thought, hang on, is it dairy? But then I thought, well, it can't be dairy, because I have like gone through periods where I haven't had any dairy except for a protein shake. I think like the period where I did get like no spots for a while, I was still taking a protein shake, and I was like, well, the protein shake's dairy because it's got whey in it. But then I was like, hang on, there's other protein shakes that I've been taking, and I damn well know that they've been causing me to get spots. What's going on? You know, what's the difference? So I started looking at the ingredients in these protein shakes. And then I started looking at the ingredients in these coffee creamers. Because the coffee creamers that I had, I can't remember what, Coffee Mate, it says on it non-dairy or no dairy or something like that. But if you actually read the ingredients, there's a little star. And it says, what was it, casein sulfate or something like that, and it's got a little star and it says a milk derivative. And I was like, well, what's this casein? And then I went back to the protein powders that were giving me, which I knew were giving me spots. And I thought, well, what's in this? Is there anything similar in the two? And sure enough, it just, reading through the ingredients, it just sprung up at me. Casein. I think that's how you pronounce it. If it's not, I apologise. But casein. And I was like, what is this? So I researched it. And casein it's the thick part of milk. It's sort of like the whey is the thinner stuff. Casein is the thicker stuff. It's like they market it in protein shakes. They market it as slow releasing protein. Like you say, oh, have it at night time because it's slow releasing. And it's like, well, it's not slow releasing. It's because your gut can't bloody digest it properly. That's why it's slow releasing. It's not like some magical thing that they've discovered and, you know, they've concocted it and gone, oh, we've made it special, we've made it slow releasing. No. It's because the gut struggles to digest it. So I started to link all these things. And then going back to the gluten, what's the one thing that you have for breakfast that gluten is in pretty much everything? Cereal. What's the one thing that you put with cereal? Milk. So I had stopped having cereal, which in turn made me stop having milk. And that's why my condition got better. And so things started to piece together. Things started to come together. And I started to feel sort of like a little bit of relief. So I started to eliminate all dairy, and I still with my whey, and I still have my whey now, and I'm absolutely fine with whey. And just eliminating dairy, pretty much, like, you know, other than the whey protein, out of my diet, I saw the oil decrease, like I saw my skin get less oily. And it was such a relief being able to have a shower or a bath and step out of the bath, dry your face, and then 2-3 hours later, just not look in the mirror and be all shiny and all over. I'm a bit shiny now because I'm warm. And be all shiny. I mean, I used to get like the nail, like the part of my nail, and rub it down like my nose and over my cheek. And it used to be covered in oil. And I used to, oh God, I hated it so much. So anyway, yeah, so things just started to get better. I stopped getting large nodular spots. Like I say, the oil went away. The general tone of my skin, like the colour in that, sort of came back a bit more. So I was over the moon about it. So I guess like the point, what I'm trying to say, I know it's been a long-winded story. You know, if you manage to get through all of it, I do appreciate it. I think that like the point is though, if you are someone out there, like if you're young and you're getting spots, I feel your pain. I really, really do. It's shit. But when you're a teenager, there isn't loads you can really do because your body's going through these changes, your hormones are all over the place. You know, fingers crossed, for the most part, you'll come out the other side and you'll be fine. But if you're one of the unlucky ones, like I was, and you come out the other side of your teenage years, but you still find yourself getting spots, and not necessarily normal acne where you're getting loads of little ones, but you find yourself you're getting nodular, deep under the skin spots that are, you know, coming up and they take ages to go away and they're really sore, and start looking at your diet. Start looking, and dairy is a big one. Now, I mean, I have things like coconut milk. I mean, there's plenty of sort of like vegan chocolate and stuff like that. One thing I have to do as well, if I order a pizza, I mean, you'll think this is like batshit crazy, but it's what I have to do. I have to order a vegan pizza and then add extra meat toppings to the pizza. So I ordered the vegan pizza because obviously it's not going to be dairy cheese, it's going to be vegan cheese, but I still eat meat. You know, I still, all the meat, I'll eat it. So the people at the pizza place, they will see like my order coming through and think, is this guy taking the piss? Comes through, vegan pizza, extra toppings, bacon, chicken, beef. They're like, what? Because like, this is it, to all the pizza places out there, have lactose-free pizza. Do all the same pizza, just lactose-free. Just have a lactose-free option. So, you know, you can get your meat feast or your pepperoni and all this sort of stuff, but you can tick an option that just says lactose-free, and they automatically just put vegan cheese on it. They do it exactly the same, just put vegan cheese on it. Why no pizza places actually thought of that yet? I don't know. But hey, there you go. Take, you know, Pizza Express, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's, take that idea. So yeah, if you are finding that you're getting spots, like you're in your 20s, 30s, even your 40s, start looking at your diet. It worked for me, and don't go to the doctors. Like, I shouldn't really say don't go to the doctors. Don't necessarily rely on them. Go to the doctors, see what they say, but I think half the time doctors are just pill dispensers. They're just there to give you pills. They just give you things to mask the symptoms. That's all they do. Obviously, if you break your leg or something like that, you know, you've got to go to, well, if you break your leg, you're not going to go to your GP, are you? You're just going to go straight to A&E. But yeah, just sometimes for stuff like this, I wouldn't rely on doctors, because they're just there to push pills. That's in the way I see it. They're just there to push pills. So yeah, just check your diet. See if there's something there that could be doing it. Now, other things that can be causing this, that can be causing spots, it's not necessarily things that are dairy based, because I think there's other things as well that do affect me, like anabolic stuff. And I know because of like going to the gym and trying different proteins and stuff like that. I've just started trying a beef protein, beef protein powder, and I thought, well, that'll be fine. That'll be no worries with that because it's beef. It even says no dairy, zero dairy, blah 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 on the front. I started taking that 2-3 weeks ago. Well, I stopped it last week because up until 2 weeks ago, I started getting spots and all concentrated in this area. So like on up on like inside my eyebrow, inside of my eye bit there, on my nose. You know, I think I've still got. You might see remnants of a couple of them. You can't see there and there. But I thought I was absolutely fine. I would be fine because it's not. I damn well know like dairy does cause it, but I also know that there are other things, and I haven't quite figured out what they are. But obviously, I don't think it's the beef that's doing it. But reading it's and it even says like it's anabolic. So I'm thinking that there's a good chance that anything that's anabolic obviously probably messes with my hormones, which then causes the spots. So, I mean, I also think possibly coffee might do it for me as well. So just be aware that if you do start eliminating food, you might eliminate one that is actually doing it, but then you're still getting the spots and you think that isn't doing it because you're still getting the spots. But you could have a multiple of things. So it's really hard to do. I mean, it's taken me years, and I still haven't got like 100% answer on what causes some spots. So you just gotta keep trying and see what works. See what works for you. It is difficult. One thing I'll add as well, that if you do start eliminating things out of your diet, what I found, at least with me, is that I'll go through a purge. Now, basically, that means when you stop having the thing that has been causing you the problems, your body will start to expel it as much as possible. If you continually drip feeding it into your body, it sort of stays in your system, and you get the spots coming up, and it just sort of continues to just churn away, and you get the spots coming up. Once you stop, your body will start to. It'll realise, oh, hang on, I'm not getting any of this bad stuff that I don't like, and so it'll go, right, I'll completely kick it out. And so you'll go through like a purge, and I can always guarantee you will have a period of time where it will get worse. So like with me, the dairy was doing it, and I stopped having dairy, and I think it was after about between the first and the second week, things got really bad. And I almost gave up because I almost thought, oh my God, it's getting worse. It can't be the dairy because I've stopped the dairy and it's getting worse. But then I remember sort of like listening to people and reading things. They're all saying you'll go through a purge and you've just got to get through the purge and get on the other side of it, and then you'll be all right. And I stuck with it. I thought, no, okay, I won't have any dairy and I'll get through. And after probably sort of like the second, probably more close to the third week, everything was just healing, no new spots coming up, nothing. And it was like, the relief that I'd finally figured out at least something, and probably the main thing that was giving me adult acne was dairy. It was like, it was good. Like the feeling of finally figuring it out. Now, I do fall foul. Like I say, I do like cheese, and every so often I will find myself having a cheese and pickle sandwich, and it's not too bad because my body's completely sort of like got rid of it out and it's never in there. Having one cheese and pickle sandwich, I don't think I might get a little something, but I know that if I continue to have a cheese and pickle sandwich every day, or if I had a cheese and pickle sandwich, then was eating normal chocolate, and then next day I had a glass of milk, and then, you know, if I consecutively consume dairy, I would start just breaking out in spots. So there we go. It's a bit long-winded. What have we been doing it like 40 odd minutes. Appreciate you hanging around. Hopefully you've got to the end of the video. Hopefully you can take something away from this, something productive. If you are an adult and still suffering from acne, then try checking your diet. Like I say, I'm not sort of any type of life coach or dating coach or guru or anything like that. I'm just a regular guy, like a lot of people out there, just trying to get through life and make sense of it. And I just come on here to talk about things that have happened to me, things that interest me, give you my perspective. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please leave a comment down below. Please, like, you know, if you have gone through something similar like this, and you know, you sort of like you can relate to it, then please leave a comment. Talk to me about it. If I get a chance to read the comments and stuff like that, I'll probably talk about what you said in another video or something. So yeah, that's it for this video. Until the next one, I will see you later.